technology. I'm just specifically on the SAP side of the house, and here I know the dean is setting up a new curriculum to have more SAP courses in the curriculum and also certifications that make you more attractive to employers who are looking for students with SAP skills. And there are, again, more than just Deloitte who hire straight off of campus for people with ERP and SAP skills. So this will make you instantly more attractive to employers because you have this in your curriculum. And again, as I say, we at Deloitte, we are looking to hire. We want to hire from the school, and we want to hire in much larger quantities. So we call it our BTA program. So this is direct hire when we hire off campus. And BTA is, again, we hire you for your potential. We don't expect you to know everything. So these courses that you're taking, they show us how you think and how you analyze things, but I'm not going to hire you and stick you in front of a client and say this is the expert. So what we do is the first 2 years are really almost a training program. So you do work on clients, but we expect you to learn during those 2 years so that when you become promoted to a consultant from a BTA, then you will be able to stand on your own as a client. But we don't bring you straight off the campus and throw you into the deep end and expect you to know from day one. Typical roles, you'll come in, you'll start talking to the client day one. So don't think you're going to go and sit in some corner and just get assignments from other Deloitte consultants. We're going to stick you in front of the client, have you interview the client to find out what their business problems were, to document what they're trying to get done. We will have you doing presentations, within the first few weeks of being there. So we will immerse you in, the culture, what we do. You will be put out there. You will start learning day one that you come to Deloitte. A typical day, early morning flight. So I flew in yesterday from California. I met the dean last night for dinner. Now this would be me typically coming to a client site. You work at the client site during the week. You might have to present to the client during that week. You would fly home on a Friday night, Thursday night. Friday you'd work remotely from the office. We have, as you know, you can do FaceTime and so many different things to stay connected with people. We use those same type things within Deloitte. Our instant messaging tool and our video connect tool is Skype for Business. So I'm sure all of you, half of you have probably used Skype before. We have Skype for Business, which means if I can't be there with you, we can actually have a meeting face-to-face, even though I'm working remotely on Friday because I've been traveling during the week. So the reason we work Monday through Thursday at the client site and Friday is home is because what we try to do is our work-life balance. We don't want you on the road so much that you're like, well, I never get to see my family, so maybe this isn't the right career for me. We definitely try to get you home on the weekends. We do things, alternate travel again is, normally you'd be flying home for the weekend. If you decide instead of flying home from the client site, I want to fly to Howard for homecoming, you can fly to Howard for homecoming, because for me, it's the same price to fly you home or to fly you somewhere else. So we have alternate travel for our consultants that travel a lot. So that's one of the things I definitely took advantage of when I first started consulting. So I started consulting as a single person. I used to live in Delaware. I was commuting to California as part of my project for like a year or two, and I decided to move because I had a roommate. So I was on the road Monday through Thursday night, and I was still paying half the rent. She was driving my BMW, and her boyfriend was living there full time. I was like, I gotta move. I'm like, this is just not work for me. I'm subsidizing your MRS degree. I'm like, and I'm paying all the bills. So I finally moved to California after about 2 years of that. But so you do travel a lot. It's great fun. I really enjoyed it. Just like you have the freshman 10, you definitely have the consulting 10 because your meals are paid for. You're on the road. So when you're on the road Monday through Thursday, breakfast, lunch, and dinner is paid for by the firm. It's all expense. So, only time you have to buy your own food is on the weekends. So let me tell you, as a first-year consultant, between that and the dollar menu at Taco Bell, I had lots of money my first year because I didn't spend hardly any money on food the first year. But it's definitely here at the bottom, no 2 days at Deloitte are the same. No 2 days are the same. You don't get bored. There is no boredom. We have lots of training, recruiting that we do. You will be asked to go back and recruit at your old school or recruit somewhere local for us because we like to have people that have just come out of college talk to the college students that we're recruiting because you can relate better, explain to them what you're doing day to day. We have lots of community service that we do as a firm. You start as a BTA analyst, and this is just our career progression. I've been through each one of those stages because I started at the bottom, and now I'm here. So, been through each one of these stages through Deloitte, grown with the company. It's been great. I've been single. I've gotten married while I was at the company. I've had 3 kids. My boys are 12, 13, and 14. So I have had the full career of everything I wanted to do while still at Deloitte and growing with the firm. Okay, so I wanted to, you don't have to clap, I wanted to get through that quickly because I want to make sure that we have time for the questions. So we have some questions I know that are preset.
In your business segment, what qualities do you look for most for potential employees? Also, just to follow up, what skills and qualities do you see graduates most lacking when they enter the workforce?
So I think the skills and qualities, so again, I mentioned during the presentation, I'm looking for someone who has critical thinking ability. So one of the things that we do during our interviews is a case study. So we give you a business situation and say, here's the situation, here are the things that are on the table, what do you suggest they do? And it's not about coming up with the answer, it's about how you get to that process where you say, oh, I would interview so-and-so, I would do this, and then I would get a group together and make the decision on what we would do. So I'm looking for someone who can come up with those critical thinking. And what I think is probably lacking the most when students come into a career, especially HBCU students, is being comfortable with corporate America, being comfortable in those situations that you will be in and being able to be yourself. So, you know, as I said, I came from a small town where I was not the minority until I went to college, because everyone in my town was black. They were, I mean, it was like 95%. So I was never the minority until I went to UVA. And when I went to UVA, all of a sudden there's 3% on a campus of thousands. And I was like, whoa, I'm like, I don't even know how to party with these people. I'm like, I don't know what they do. I'm like, I don't drink beer like that. I'm like, how do you do this? So, you know, really, so being comfortable in situations that are not your norm is probably the key in consulting to, you know, to really grow and to network the way you need to in consulting. So, hey, I can tap a keg like the best of them. I'll go to a keg party in a minute when I was in college. So learning how, I'll go play golf. And I don't play golf. I spend more time chasing a cart that has the beer on it than I do playing golf. But I will go to a golf tournament and I will talk during that golf tournament and converse with them. So being in any situation and being comfortable. I think in consulting that is the key to growth, is to be able to go into any situation and be comfortable, because you have to talk to clients of every walk of life and be comfortable with that.
Thank you for that. Is that on? No.
Since the beginning of your career, what steps have you taken or practices have you applied that were instrumental in achieving the success you experience today?
I think for me it was very simple. One, know your job. So the first thing I did was I became good at the job that I did. And then the second thing I did was looked at my boss's job and start doing his job. So you have to make sure you do your job first, because some people are always focused on what they want to be, you know, 12 steps ahead. And so they start trying to act like partners from day one. And we're like, excuse me, squeeze me, you're not a partner. You need to pay attention to your own job. You're spending more time looking at 12 steps ahead than being good at what you do today. So be good at what you do today. And then once you got that down, then start doing your boss's job. And what I mean is, no one says no to help. So when you see that, you know, there's an area that's fallen down, or your boss needs help, or you see something else you are interested in, then you can easily start doing more of those activities. So you do your job, and then you're like, I need to start practicing for this promotion I'm going to get in a year or so. So you start looking at what that job has to do, and you start slowly doing that job. And literally within Deloitte, we're like, that person's already doing the job, give them the promotion. And that's how it worked, and I kept doing that. I was always like, I can do my boss's job better. I always thought I could do it better. So I would do my job, and then I would start doing that next job, and I would get the promotions, you know, boom, boom, boom.
So I guess you're talking everything in existence.
Yes, exactly. Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Okay, at this point, what concentrations and areas of studies do you feel students should focus on to increase their competitive edge in today's market? Also, what job areas do you see having the most potential and growth in your industry?
So my industry is technology. So everyone knows technology is booming, has been booming for years. I see no, slowdown ever happening in technology. So what the dean is bringing here to the curriculum for SAP, because that's specifically what I do is SAP. She's bringing courses. She's also bringing the certifications that make you attractive to employers. There's a college in California, Chico, who has the same type of curriculum. Every single person in that curriculum who gets that certification is offered a job at graduation, period. It's 100%. 100%. So everyone who takes that certification and takes those courses at Chico States comes out not only with a job, but with a job making like 15 to 20% more than their peers at that college. So the dean is doing exactly what she needs to do for the school.
Thank you for that answer.
In reference to the various positions you have held throughout your career, how are you able to continue to progress in terms of first preventing complacency in your current role, and then being able to identify which opportunities to take so that you did not remain stagnant in your career?
So I think for me, one thing is I have control issues. I want to be in control of everything. So for me, always saying I could do my boss's job better is because I want to be in control of it. I always thought I can do this better. So I think you need to learn your personality and the things that you are good at, and make sure that you focus your career toward that. So some people will focus their career on, I really like the technology, and what I want to do is really be an expert in the technology and speak to people about that particular piece of the technology. And other people say, well, I like to program manage everything. I like to make all the moving pieces. You guys are probably too young for the A-Team, but I love it when a plan comes together. That was one of the sayings from the old A-Team movies, is I love it when a plan comes together. So I love organizing all these different things and then seeing everything to come together and seeing that success at go live. I'm like, oh, I love that. And then I'm like, now I need to go do it again. So just doing more and taking over more was just my personality anyway. So I kept doing that. And when it comes to which chances do you take, be bold. When you interview for a job, do not interview for a job that's only in Delaware or only going to be in your hometown. Be bold. Interview for everything and take the opportunity that presents itself. No shade to Delaware, but Delaware was not my first choice coming out of college when I was at UVA. Delaware was not my first choice, but Delaware is where the job was. So my friends were like, are you really going to Delaware? I said, yes, I am going to Delaware. I'm like, they offered me $28,500, and I thought I was rich until I started eating ramen noodles. But they offered me $28,500. I'm like, I'm going to Delaware. I don't know anybody in Delaware, but I'm going to Delaware. Now, I went to Delaware, and when I say I burned up 95 South, going back home to Virginia, I burned up 95 South. I burned it up so bad that I pledged grad chapter 4.5 hours away because I drove down to pledge. You gotta get that. But I drove down the freeway 4.5 hours each way so I could get my letters. But I burned the freeway up because Delaware wasn't my first choice, but it was a job and it was the best thing I did because it really launched my career. It's taking that opportunity that they gave me.
Thank you.
While we know the importance of analytical and technical skills in a job area such as yours, can you express the importance of soft skills and how developing them has helped you advance in your career?
Exact. So soft skills are very key in consulting. So you can be very smart and get in the door, but you're not going to progress unless you have those soft skills and the soft skills are just that you have to be able to talk to people, read an audience, know how to present yourself, know how to be professional, because that's the only way you're going to advance. Because when people say, okay, who am I going to promote? They don't look for the person who's sitting in the corner, and they don't look for the person who doesn't talk a lot, and they don't look for the person who, they look for the person that they know. And the way they get to know you is because you have those soft skills where they see you interacting. They're like, this is the person who, is going to run a company. This is the person who's going to run a company. They know how to talk to people. They know how to get along with people. They know how to get things done. So again, I'm not saying you have to be the life of the party. I'm just saying you have to be comfortable in any party that you go to. And those soft skills come into play because when you're in different client environments, you figure out how to be comfortable in that environment. And those soft skills make it easy for you to talk to people, easy for you to do presentations, be in different situations. And, you can see a history of people who have joined the company and those that have progressed and those that haven't, and the ones that haven't is because they're lacking some of those soft skills. So they're not the ones that we pick for promotion. They're not the ones that we pick for opportunities. But they're smart, but they just aren't right for consulting, because for consulting, you definitely need those soft skills. There could be some other careers that don't need them as much, but in consulting, it's almost 50-50. You need those technical skills to get in the door, but once you get in the door, you need those soft skills to keep you moving.
So are you saying don't be the life of the party, but be in the party?
I'm saying you don't have to be the life of the party, but you definitely want to be in the party. There's nothing wrong with being the life of the party as long as you do have some level. So, this is not a party with your boys. This is still work. So always remember, even if you're a gregarious person, you probably know I'm a loud personality. So I'm always, in the party, in the midst of the party. But you also have to remember, this is still professional. So what I might do at CIAA, I'm not doing here. So, this is work, this is professional. I'm going to have this much fun, not that much. I'm not going to take it to the max. I'm going to have this much fun, and then I'm going to go home because I got to go to work tomorrow. I'm not going to kill it. Someone else might, but that's, this is work. And there are definitely some differences between work and play, and never get them mixed up. There's always a line.
Thank you for that answer.
That was really good advice. So, you are thriving in the workplace. What are some of the key strategies you implemented to achieve a healthy work-life balance as a wife and a mother?
A healthy work-life balance as a wife and a mother. Okay, so a healthy work-life balance as a wife and a mother means that sleep is optional. It's not required. So if you got, for example, right before the meeting, the dean's looking at me and I'm texting, because I'm texting my boys at home going, all right, it's 6 a.m. Are you awake? You should be up. You should be getting dressed, waking your daddy up because he's late, waking your daddy up to make sure you're going to school. So I'm texting my kids in the morning. When I'm on the road, I'm Facebooking doing homework. My kids have been able to work a fax machine since they were like 6 years old to fax mommy the homework, to check the homework. So you have to figure out how to get everything done. So, as part of consulting, it's always solving a problem. So I look at the whole work-life balance as the same thing of always trying to, solve a problem. How am I going to get it all done? So it may mean that I'm going to work on the plane, get a couple hours of work in while I'm on the plane. And then I'm going to come here. Tomorrow I head down to Virginia to do some recruiting at Virginia State. Well, my parents live in Petersburg, which is Virginia State, so I'm not staying at the hotel. I'm going to stay at my parents' house. And then when I do a faculty mixer, my mother's going to come along with me. So, I'm going to, take her. I'm going to see the family. Sometimes I'm doing activities with BTAs, college students. I'll take my kids along. They love it. Anything with food, my boys are there. So if we're doing a dinner, they're like, oh yeah, Mom, just stick us in the corner and just give us a menu and we're good. So, anything you can do to, balance them both. But it's a juggling act, and it's just like work. You just try to figure out how to get it all in somehow.
Thank you.
Okay. During your journey towards success, I'm sure that you encountered obstacles. I would like to know how you overcame those obstacles, and is there any lesson learned that you can share with us as we embark on our journey? Because here at Delaware State University, we're here to make our mark on the world.
Okay, so obstacles. So I think my obstacles came midway in my career, and actually my obstacle was to know, how much Tanya to give people, because some people can't handle all of Tanya. So at work, I was having a ball, I was traveling, I was the life of the party. I wasn't too much, but I was the life of the party. But as you move up in the management levels, you learn that things that you did as consultants, you can't do as managers. For example, I found out, I used to joke all the time and say, oh, you are so fired. But as I moved up in the ranks, people started taking me, that didn't know me, would start taking me seriously. And literally, get upset and stressed out. And then someone would be like, Tanya's just joking, are you serious? They were like, they would be stressed out. So some of the things and kind of the jokes I told as I was, consultant and senior consultant, you realize, okay, as you go up in the levels, you really do have to remember you're at work. And, tone it down and only give so much at work and save the rest for home and friends. You can definitely be yourself, but you have to know how much it's going to church. you're quiet in church because that's church. You're not, you can't talk in church like that. So it's just like work. You're still the same person, but you're like, I respect this environment. So in this environment, I need to, do these things. So for me, it was making that transition from I'm everyone's buddy to I'm really in a leadership position. So when I'm at work and when I'm doing these things, I have to really, give the right amount of each particular thing. So making that transition from everybody's friend and everyone's buddy to I'm in a leadership role and I have some responsibilities as a leader that make me tone down a bit of my personality at different places and different times. And that was actually my struggle.
Thank you so much.
Given the fact that technology is an integral part of our society, workplace environment, and processes, what advice or recommendations do you have for students to increase our technology, IQ, and ability to manipulate the various enterprise resource planning systems and other information systems?
So I would say once you get hired, they will train you on what they want you to work on. So you will be hired for your potential, you'll be hired for the courses that you have taken that will show the employer this person is right for an IT type of a job. And you will be trained on it. So I would say, make sure that you are, it used to be read Wall Street Journal. Well, no, just like browse through Business Week to see what the hot topics are, whether or not it's big data, analytics, or cloud, some of those key terms. I would say before you go to interviews, if you haven't, read, Business Week or, a PC magazine or whatever, I would say right before the interview season starts, just read, just flip through, the big titles to make sure nothing just shocks you in an interview. So just to keep up on what's going on, what's big out there, what are the key terms. If you just kind of do, a quick study before you go to interviews, you'll know what some of the big buzzwords are. So if they say something to you, you won't be like, duh, I don't know what that is. So you want to at least be familiar with some of the things that are going on. But again, we're going to hire you for your potential, and we're going to train you on what you need to know. So just stay up on, some of the, key terms that are out there these days. I think will do you well.
Thank you.
Are there any final thoughts that you would like to share with our students?
So I would say don't be limited by thinking of this is what I